Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out probatemastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit probatemastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
Okay, well, let's get started. Hey, welcome. This is Bill Gross, and this is our Probate Mastery real estate coaching call. We do this every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is affiliated with the Probate Mastery Program for real estate agents to build their business specifically in probate real estate. Probatemastery.com is the website. And there's 3 tracks there. There's the basics with a bunch of free stuff, which is great. There's, if you want to get certified, there's a program for that I took years ago and retook in this format. And there's other courses and bundles. I think I took in most, if not all of those as well, that cost some money. So start with the free and work your way through it. But we do this every week to help you build your business. And again, that's the key thing is we're building a business. We're not just buying magic pixie dust that's going to give us a bunch of listings and help us sell a bunch of houses. Part of that is the Facebook group, which is the Estate Professionals Mastermind group. We have 7,000 members there. You can continue the conversation as well as post any requests for referrals for attorneys, realtors, or whatever. I'd love to see you guys there. And then separately, I host probateweekly.com every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up at Probate Weekly or see past episodes at episodes.probateweekly. That's an interview-based format where I bring in an attorney or a professional vendor, talk about the business, help us learn and network. And then I have a Facebook group as well, Probate Weekly, about 3,000 people there. Love to have you come and post your probate content or referrals. And then just personally, my link tree is linktr.ee/Bill Gross. I have all my programs there. And in particular, I host an email masterclass where we learn the fundamentals of how to use email marketing as a foundation of your real estate business. But again, all this is based on probatemastery.com. I am not a full-time coach. I'm a full-time practitioner. I list and sell property. Closed one last week, trying to close one this week. And that's my basic business. So what I'm telling you is what I'm doing. I am in Los Angeles, California, which is the largest or second largest, depending how you count it, probate market in the country. Certainly the biggest probate court in the country. And so things are a little different here than otherwhere, but I do interview and talk to people across the country all the time, including Atlanta this morning, as a matter of fact, Tanya. So I'm pretty up to date on Georgia and most other states' probate, and the principles you'll find are somewhat similar across the country. So this is meant to be participative. Love to have you ask questions. Raise your hand, put it in the chat box. If you don't, I can talk endlessly about probate. I did prepare a couple items to talk about. I don't see any hands up yet or any questions in the chat box. So I think I will just go ahead and share with you a couple ideas I have. One thing that strikes me about this time of year is how stressful it can be for people who are struggling. You know, there's a saying that when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming without their pants on. I think it's a famous Warren Buffett quote. And, you know, the market, the units have come down, I think nationally about 30%. And then seasonally, we tend to do less business nationally in December than other months. And so for a lot of people, this is a real stressful time period. You have taxes going to be due soon. You're going to be needing to renew your realtor fees. And for a lot of people, now I'm not in that category. I've done real well. I've got money in the bank and I don't have any debts, and I'm taking my family for a vacation that I've dreamed of for a few years. But I talk every day to agents who are really struggling. And so I want to share with you, I think, 2 important concepts to focus on during this time period, December and January probably. And the first concept I would have you focus on is clarity. I think it's really, really important that you be clear on what you're supposed to be doing. You know, I have some real estate agents who do some regular real estate, they do some investment real estate, they do some probate. The problem is when you're not clear on what you're supposed to do, it's easy when you have a setback, when a seller doesn't choose you, when a seller doesn't value your commission, when a seller doesn't treat you respectfully, or a buyer. It's natural in those moments if business is a little slower for you, to get more frustrated, more depressed, more on your own. Since less of our colleagues are working, we're all a little more on our own this time of year. And the thing that will pull you through is the clarity of your purpose and understanding where you are on your mission. And what I mean by that is being crystal clear on what you're supposed to do and really focus on eliminating distractions. And what do those look like? So, for example, it's easy to answer every email for an invite to a party and call it networking. Is that really your marketing plan? Like in my case, I'm only going to one holiday party, non-social, non-family, during this holiday period. The LA County Bar Association has a trust and estates division mixer tonight. So I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to go to. And I didn't go to it last year because it didn't meet my standards of what I'm trying to do with my business. Just because there's people there doesn't make it prospecting time, doesn't make it lead generation time. What are you trying to do with your business? Now, my business, I'm trying to build referrals from attorneys and vendors. So I'm crystal clear on that. Another one is be crystal clear when you're supposed to work and when you're not supposed to work. Now, again, I'll share with you guys, I was going to be off a week before last. I was taking my whole family to Florida for vacation. The day before, my youngest grandson came down with a fever, couldn't go. So we rescheduled the trip till mid-December. But I decided, I've set up the whole week off. It's not a work for me to plan my week off. I'll just enjoy the rest of the week off, an extra vacation week, and I'll take off that other week in December as well. I hadn't planned on. But I looked at my numbers, I looked at my bank account, I said, I can make that work, and I've earned that time off. There were years where I hadn't earned the time off, and I blocked out days I'm supposed to not work and days I'm supposed to work, and I'm challenging you to work the days you're supposed to work. Don't work the ones you're not supposed to. For example, I'm a Sabbath observant Jew. I'm religious. I would never work Friday night sundown before Saturday nightfall, ever. It doesn't matter what it is. Not taking phone calls, emails, texts, doesn't matter. That's what I blocked out. I blocked out Sunday for myself, my family, up until 5 o'clock. I do block 5 to 8 to do work on Sunday for me. I like to work that time because there's a football game on. I can do computer work while the football game's on. But my point is I block out when I'm not supposed to work. I block out when I'm supposed to work, and I work when I'm supposed to work. And too many of you don't do that, and then you stop working when you're supposed to work. And then you feel guilty when you're not supposed to work. You're with your family or friends, and you're checking your texts or emails, which is now interfering with your non-work time. So I'm going to challenge you to get clear on when you're supposed to work and when you're not supposed to work, and get very clear. And I'm going to tell you to seek clarity. Find people around you who are clear. Find people around you who are driven to do something. I'll share with you one of the people that I've followed a lot. I read the biography recently. I watched every video interview I've seen him do, is Elon Musk. There's a lot there. There's a lot to like. There's some things not to like. I don't worship him. I worship God and nobody else, but I do learn from people who are smarter than me. And one thing about this guy who's built two of the most amazing companies in the world, I'm going to get into the third one, Twitter, but let's talk about SpaceX and Tesla. Two of the most amazing companies in the world, is his complete focus and clarity on his mission. If you listen to him interviewed, it is crystal clear. He knows what he's supposed to do. What if you had that clarity with your business? I'll share with you that's the clarity I have with my business. I set a plan on my business probate 5 years ago. Truth is, this month is the end of my 5-year plan. I had planned to finish this 5-year period and be able to retire, which I'm able to do, and not to sell anymore going forward, or have the option not to. I'm going to keep selling for at least another couple of years. I'm rewriting my plan right now, but I've decided I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm making really good money. It's not that hard because I have it set up. I have momentum. But I'm clear. I was clear for the last 5 years what I'm supposed to do. I didn't go to meetings I shouldn't go to because I was clear that wasn't on my plan. I'm going to challenge you, number one, to have clarity. Number two, I'm going to challenge you to use the time if you have less sales, if, after prospecting 3 or 4 hours a day, you still have more work time in your schedule. I'm going to challenge you to get better. I'm going to challenge you to be better, not just find more business. If you're better, you'll get more business. I remember the advice I got under the wedding canopy 37 years ago. Now, I don't remember it all the time. I'm not saying I acted all the time in my marriage, but I remember it in my business. And the rabbi said, the key to success in marriage, which I think is true in business, is not finding the right partner, it's being the right partner. See, too many of us as realtors are trying to find the right customer instead of being the right real estate professional for the customer. So the customer goes, of course I'm going to use you. Who else would I use? You're the expert in my market area in Fayetteville, wherever it is, Georgia, New Hampshire. If you're the best, of course they're going to use you. If you're average, get ready to have your commission under a microscope. And then they'll pull out a chisel and go after whatever's left. But get better during this time period. What do I mean by that? Work your fundamentals. Review the basic documents. Make sure you know your purchase contracts and your forms. If you have a probate addendum, make sure you learn it. Also, talk to more people this time of year, but be prepared. Less people will answer the phone, but more people will be available for deeper conversations. You're going to find that most people, because they're distracted, they're just wandering through life, and you want to be the beacon of hope, the beacon of light in their life. You want to know that they need you to go deeper than you have before. Be prepared for those conversations. I just had one with a team member. And, he's really struggling. He's really lost focus. He's really lost clarity. I do classes all the time on this, and he's not even showing up. He's so lost. Know that every conversation you have with anybody, this goes back to the book, The Course in Miracles. Every communication from any other person is either an expression of love or a cry for help. And so when people tell you they're confused, they're lost, they're frustrated, they're crying for help from you. Be better. Add more methods to your platform. Add more systems. Add more. In my case, my main lead generation is video, live hosting, and broadcast video is more. I'm launching more. I'm doing more with the programs they have, and I'm launching more programs. I'm not working more hours, but I'm squeezing in my workday, squeeze out the fat, and squeezing in more time. I'm getting better as an agent. So again, those are two things I want you to think about during the month of December is one, focus, clarity. And second is be better. Maybe it's a good time to take the class. Maybe it's a good time to watch the videos. It's a good time to finish the certification class you didn't finish. Get better. Don't not lead generate when you're done with lead generating, because you can only do 3 or 4 hours a day. Work on you getting better. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Tanya, thank you. It's Lawrenceville, Georgia, between Athens and Atlanta. Sorry about that. I hope I didn't butcher the name too much. First hand up is George Wallace. George, what is up? How can I help you?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I have been an avid student of A Course in Miracles since 1994.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's been the central part of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I would say that was a case for me, from 1980 through 1983, and I haven't picked it up since, but it launched me in a spiritual path. It's been the continuation of the program, but phenomenal, amazing resource. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it really is. And that's for it touches everything. It touches everything, all aspects of life.
Yeah.
But I'm new in this probate field here. And I've just started getting my leads, and interestingly enough, before I get on this call today, this morning I was thinking about, okay, I'm scattered all over the place, and that's not good for me. I've owned businesses before, and I know I understand how to create businesses from scratch. And I do not like being a real estate agent. I like being a professional. And I think there's a difference. So I decided that I'm going to focus. I don't like doing this whole one-off thing where you can work with somebody for an intense 6 months and they say, well, I'm not going to sell now. And I want to build relationships, and I know the value of building a team. So right now I'm looking at, I want to build my team. I'm just finishing my own website. I'm calling my business Estate Settlement Partners, and of course, I'm working in a brokerage. My question is this, and I'm good at marketing too. I mean, I'm going to be sending emails and letters and video texts and blah 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 blah, and people say to me, I've heard on different things that, okay, send a letter a month. And, follow up with a phone call. For me, I'm thinking, no, that doesn't do it. I want somebody to see my name at least once a week. And, but my question is, I started thinking about time blocking today, because I think I really need to do that. And I've never done time blocking before. And I'm thinking about like 4 hours a day for phone calling to follow up on the other stuff that I'm doing. And how many phone calls can you do in 4 hours a day? And because I've never done that. And how many, and what's the best time to be calling people?
Well, so I think you have two questions. One is, how many people can you talk to in a day? And the answer is, you can talk to as many as you can. And if you get better at it, you'll talk to more. But at the same time, you don't want to talk to just the number of people. You want to talk in ways purposeful that creates appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The purpose of the phone call, think of what I call the ladder of intimacy, whether it be in personal relationships or business. There's completely inanimate emails, texts, social media, and then there's maybe text, direct messages, and then there's phone calls, and then there's maybe Zoom calls, and then there's meeting somebody in person. The purpose of a phone call is to move the relationship forward. So what you don't want to do is be so focused on. I came out of the Mike Ferry prospecting methodology, where you see people very focused on having 40 contacts a day, but when they had one on the hook, they were rushing them off because they had to get into 40 contacts. Well, that makes no sense at all. So that part, I would say, but you have to count your numbers every day, both your contacts per hour. So you have to count hours and contacts. And then you have to count appointments, or whatever your next step is. Appointment could be in person, appointment could be a video appointment or a presentation, whatever it is. And you have to track them and every day get better. So the answer, I don't know the number for you. The answer is the number for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your second question is, what's the best time to call? And the answer is going to be, the best time to call is the best time you make the phone calls. I believe you're going to find the best time is when you start your day is when you should do your hunting, because you have your most energy, your most clarity, and the less interruptions. As the day goes on, interruptions are going to mount, and it gets harder and harder to stay on track. So I would always urge people, find a time blocking method that includes starting your day on your lead generation path. And that way you get it done by 11 or 12, and then you're done for the day as far as that activity.
Okay. I want people, my first goal is I want to do a house a month. And is that a realistic goal starting out? And I think it's a goal, so it's something that I can measure. A listing a month, and if I can do that, I'm okay. Then I can build on that. Mm-hmm. And I just want to get people to let customers and vendors, they're both as important. And as far as, but I need to find a way to let them know who I am as a person.
Of course.
Rather than as an agent.
Of course. That's the challenge. And I would say, is it realistic? I don't know. How about you start with getting a listing? and seeing how long that takes. And if it takes you 2 months or 3 months, let's say it takes 3 months, then get another one. Maybe it takes 2 months, then get another one. Maybe it's a month. Now you know you can do it. So I don't know the answer. I think you're very much in your head, and you need to get into action.
Mhm.
And the solution to all your problems is getting better and talking to more people. And there's no other solution that's going to get you where you want to go, as far as getting more listings. As far as people knowing you, that's the point of your lead generation, your marketing activity. I mean, I'm going tonight to a attorney networking event that we would say is a target-rich environment of attorneys, by definition, working in the estate and trust space. I don't know how many will be there. I'm guessing just from the marketing effort and such, there might be 100 people there. And I'm sure half will be vendors, realtors and other related vendors. But I'm guessing of the 50 attorneys there, I'll let you know tomorrow, but I would say, I would hope 10 already know who I am, between podcasts and video and social media and email and having done deals and having gone to court and met people. The goal is that people know you ahead of time, so when they see you, they've already met you. So when you're talking to them, they already know who you are. That's why I have video also, so that when I've literally had sellers say to me, Bill, we'd love to have you interview. We have 4 other agents we're having interviewed to list our house, and we can fit you in a Wednesday at 3 or 4. And I said to him, it has happened twice, where I said, I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm honored you choose me. But to be honest, if you think there's 4 other realtors as good as me, I'm probably not the right agent for you. You probably don't appreciate what I bring to the table. That's okay. No harm, no foul. And if you get to a point where you have a question, please call me. And I send a follow-up email. I have a link to my YouTube channel. And I've had 2 call me back and say, wow, I saw your YouTube channel. I really understand that you're different than these other agents. We want you to list the house. Right? So the goal is to have people, after seeing whatever you're marketing doing, saying, wow, obviously we want you to do it. Right? Another story I would tell is, 2 stories I would tell on this subject to get your mindset on this. One is, if you ever saw the movie My Cousin Vinny, you have to watch that movie if you're going to work with attorneys, because every attorney has seen the movie. Every attorney loves the movie, My Cousin Vinny. There's a scene in the movie, it's about 2 cousins, and they each have an attorney. One hired one has the county provided one. And the county provided one is kind of bad, actually. The reason why, but he doesn't do a good job. And so he's not prepared, and he stutters. I take offense when people make fun of stutterers. My best friend was a stutterer, and it's not a character defect. There's reasons why people stutter. But anyhow, he stutters, but he also is not prepared, which is the bigger problem. And one of the cousins says, you're fired, to one attorney, and says, I want you to be my attorney. That's the experience we want to have our customers have. I want you to be my realtor. I want you to be my listing agent. I want you to be my probate expert, my probate professional. There's another story I would tell you. I had to have hip replacement surgery about 10 years ago. And I lived near 2 amazing hospitals. One, Cedars-Sinai, world famous. The other one, not as famous, USC Keck, up and coming. But USC been hiring a lot of the top surgeons from the other hospitals, and they've since become world-class. So I made an appointment to have a doctor who's referred to me at the first hospital, Cedars-Sinai. And I was going to get a second opinion from the USC Keck. And when we went there, I went there with my wife. And we went there, in walked the doctor who was the chairman of the orthopedic department, who specialized in hips, and in fact wrote the textbook they used at UCLA and USC on hip replacement surgery. And he was so amazing. He was so humble, so pleasant. We walked out the room. My wife and I both turned to each other and said, forget the other guy. We haven't met the other guy. I want him to be my surgeon. That nobody could be better than that. We didn't even go to Cedars-Sinai to see. I'm sure the guy was really good. I'm sure he gets paid $1 million a year. We didn't even bother seeing him because the USC guy was so good. That's how good I want to be as a real estate professional. That's the goal. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get there today or tomorrow or next week or next month. That's the goal, to be that good. Now, how do you do that? Well, that's what the marketing's supposed to do, both your marketing should educate you and then help you educate your prospect. That's why I do my own podcast is interview format. I can interview whoever I want to learn from. I interview attorneys, vendors, top professionals in the business that I learn from, and then I get to share with my prospects. Here's what I'm doing. What's your realtor doing? Your realtor doesn't even know what the form looks like. That's the standard. Okay, does that help a little bit?
Yes. Because I want to do a podcast, and that
Don't no, just do one.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just put in your calendar, launch it. Launch it next week on Monday. Just do it, schedule it weekly, and get better at it every week forever. Just don't even plan on doing it. Just do it.
Yeah.
This is the time of year just to do it, just to launch it, do it, throw it out there. I was talking to a guy this goes back to my
I'll do it.
conversation.
I'll start it tomorrow.
Beautiful. Perfect.
I'll start it tomorrow.
Tanya, I was talking to a lender of Atlanta. He wants to help his realtors get probate. I have a team member in Athens, but I want to do more. I'm looking to attract other realtors in Georgia, in particular Atlanta. I need a team leader to help me build Atlanta. And so we both want to get in front of realtors in the Atlanta metro area on probate. And we're launching a podcast for Georgia state realtors. And I said, fine, just do it. Just pick it. He asked me, like, would I do it? Yes, I'll talk to anybody you want. Yes, book it. We're booking once a month for the whole year next year. It's being launched. Like, I'm not just telling you this, George. I literally did this 2 hours ago. We're launching a podcast starting in January on Georgia state probate for real estate agents.
The podcast I'm going to launch, the first one is going to be a little bit different. I want to get a lot of like name recognition as well as being related to the probate market. But if I get enough name recognition, maybe the marketing that I'm doing may coincide with that. So I'm doing a podcast. I'm going to start the podcast tomorrow, and it's going to be called Everyday Heroes. It's people in your neighborhoods, or just regular people that are doing extraordinary things, and you don't even know it. I mean, they might live down the street from you. And I'll interview them, and I'll also have solo things where I just expound on like spiritual stuff I've learned and whatnot, and I'll just get going with it.
Nice. Two things I've learned about podcasting, having done it now for 3 or 4 years, I think my personal podcast is bigger than this one in terms of overall views. I would say two things I know are true. Number one is the content. When you go online and watch a lot of YouTube videos from people who teach you how to build a podcast, they're going to teach you all the bells and whistles. Mm-hmm. But the number one thing is the content, something that your audience finds interesting. And number two, it better be genuine. If you think that's a good idea, then you better really think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do.
Meaning you're not writing it for me. And it sounds interesting to me. Would I watch every episode? I don't know. I'm not your target audience. I don't think. It's not the kind of thing I would listen to, not my style, not my jam. I'd watch it for you because I know you and I'd like to see you grow and improve. But you better think it's a great topic. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, it's going to come across as inauthentic. If you do, you will pull across the finish line as being successful just on your personal energy on it. So you have to find what you enjoy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. We covered that, George. We're good?
Yeah, actually, I have another one I'm going to be doing as well.
Great. Do 3, do 5. Yep. I do like 5 podcasts a week. Yep. One's big, one's a couple medium. I'm launching new ones, counseling them, just keep going after it. My goal is to talk to as many people as I can.
It's going to be called Windshield Wisdom. It's my camera is set up here, my iPhone. I get a great idea about something or a great thought about something. I'll make a 1 or 2 minute video, and bam, that's on Windshield Wisdom.
That sounds like a plan. I look forward to it. Make sure you invite me and come back here and market it. Okay.
Yep.
Great, George. I see with her hand up, but her video is not. There you go. Let's see. You're bringing you in.
My name is Francis.
Hey, Francis, what's up?
Hey, nice to meet you. Finally.
Nice to meet you.
I have a question.
The Francis Wells Group. Are you the group?
I got a few people.
You don't look that big. I'm big enough to be a group by myself. I don't think you're quite that big. What's up, Francis?
I have a question. I've always heard of the term probate, and I started like really digging in, and then I got recertified and the whole thing late of last year. And this whole year has been like, trying to figure it out, like, okay, do I go and knock on the attorney doors? Do I go to the courthouse? Like where do I go? Right? Besides just calling. I know that because I've been listening to your past podcast for quite some time. And I know you said that you don't call at all. However, one thing I do realize is that probate is a great niche. I took 10 listings from one guy. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, so there's gold in here. My question to you is this. I've gone to the Riverside County, and I sat there for a few days, right? And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, all right, how do you recommend someone to really start tapping into the attorney network? I'm not in the LA County, so I'm not your competition. I'm out in the IE of Riverside County.
Yeah, I think you're with
Bernardino County.
You're at Remax, right? In Diamond Bar?
Yeah. How do you know?
I was in Diamond Bar on Friday. I lived in Diamond Bar for 15 years, and I have a team based in Diamond Bar. Yeah, I looked you up. Information is the most valuable resource, Francis. Yeah, totally. I don't know, and in probate especially. So I think I'm not selling a coaching program. I'm selling you on a dream, and there's different resources you can use to achieve your dream and find your path, not mine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I can share with you that when I started in probate real estate 5 years ago, I did an analysis on my assets, my strengths, and the opportunities. And LA County is a huge court. It's a huge county. It's only 20 minutes from my house, straight down Pico Boulevard almost. I like putting on a suit and tie and going to court. Most people don't. I kind of look like an attorney when I get dressed up, right? Not everybody does. No offense, but and I'm not here to play into stereotypes, but go with what works for you. I have gray hair. I might as well go where there's more people who have gray hair get respected than not, right?
So, I have gray hair.
Well, I wasn't coming to your hair, friends. I'm just saying I did an analysis of me, what works, what doesn't work. I'm not going to compete with young kids in terms of energy and dynamism and all that, but I certainly can compete on appearance of wisdom and knowledge and such. I also wanted to compete where my success was more based on knowledge than on maybe personal charisma, play to your strengths. And so for me, I made the decision to go to court every day for my lead generation. Now, while I was there, I got strategic about what I did. So I learned in LA County kind of the rhythm of the court. And the rhythm was I'd see the most people from 8:15 till about 10:30. So I got there at 7:45, got a cup of coffee, was in position at 8 o'clock, and I'd stay there till 10:30, 5 days a week. And I learned where to kind of go to see more people, right? Just like you might, if you were door knocking, learn your neighborhood's rhythm and who's home and who's not, or what the demographics are in your area, or any other marketing. I learned LA County court, not Riverside, not San Bernardino, LA County, what the rhythm was, where to be, where to stand, where to meet people. And then also learned that if I went in the courtroom, I learned a lot about probate. I really got a PhD in about 30 days. Mm-hmm. I'd seen more court sales than any judge, attorney, or realtor ever within the first year. So I designed my method that worked for me in my court. And I would say for you in Riverside, I don't know enough about it to offer you the right strategy, but I would say to you the things to think about are learn the rhythm of the court. When are certain hearings? What days? What times? What other resources are available? Like, I know there's a bar association. I'm a member. I get invited to their networking events, their luncheons. They have a lunch and learn with a judge coming up. And so the bar association, do they have educational classes you can learn from as well as network at? In LA County, they have a LA County Law Library across the street. Do they have something like that in Riverside? I suspect they do, that you can go to and meet, or where they hold classes for people for free. Not that those necessarily are your customers, but the attorneys putting on those classes would be prospective referral sources. So I don't know the answers, but I would say the right questions to ask are, what's the rhythm and the layout of the business in Riverside County? Is it all at the one office in Riverside? Are there two courts?
So there's the reason why I don't go into LA is because it's too far for me.
Well, plus the traffic, you're going the wrong way in the morning.
Yeah, and I have to drop off my kid at school, and so I've gone to Riverside, and there's 3 courtrooms, and I went actually 3 days on a row, and you're right, you do learn a lot because you're sitting there, you're like, wow. So I sat in the back, and I was just learning, and you see, different people come in and out, but a lot of the cases were follow-up cases that have been going on for years.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, okay, do I go and approach the people before they go into the courtroom? Or, because obviously I'm not going to be like, excuse me, Your Honor, let me pass on my business card, right? To the people.
Yeah, you can't do that in the courtroom for sure.
Yeah. And so that's why I was asking you, because I thought about going into San Bernardino County just to check it out. In fact, I think you should do that on Monday.
If do you live in Diamond Bar? Where do you live?
I live in Chino Hills.
Yeah, I think I would also check out San Bernardino Court just to compare the two, because I think they're about the same distance time-wise for you.
Yeah. And my boy goes to school in Ontario in a private school, so I'm going that direction regardless.
I would definitely check out San Bernardino Court as well. Okay. Not that one's better than the other. I'm just saying I would investigate. I think that, again, it depends on the court and what you learn when you go there. I'll give you another example of something I did. One of the things I did was once I had been there for a while and I really learned the layout. I knew the hearings, where the calendar was posted on the walls, where the research rooms were, what not to do. You can't take pictures in the hallways, what to do, where the coffee was, where the restrooms are. So I actually organized a meetup for free in the court where I became like a tour guide in the LA County Probate Court. Now, nobody appointed me, right? Nobody hired me. Nobody paid me. Nobody said I couldn't do it. But what would happen would be, and originally I did like 1 day a week, then I did 2 days a week. And of course, it varies on your schedule. You have to make it work for you. But what would happen is people would show up. And so I'm walking around the court showing people things. And I'd have attorneys say, I'm curious, who are you? Well, I'm a probate expert, and I have customers, investors, homeowners, people going through probate who want to learn how the court works. So I just show them to help them demystify. If you have clients that you'd like me to give a tour to make them feel comfortable, I'd be glad to give them a tour for free. Well, what does that say to the attorney when you're walking around? And there are days I had like 8 people following me, not always, sometimes none, sometimes one.
You're the expert.
Exactly. Yeah. So could you do that? Could you organize a real estate investment meetup at the court when you're done? Meaning, if you said to me, well, but I only want to go to court to Riverside 1 day a week on Wednesdays, and I want to be done, I'm done at 10 o'clock or 11. Okay. Could you organize in LA court? There's on the top floor cafeteria room. Anybody can go there and have a cup of coffee and buy food. You even have to go in the cafeteria. It has an amazing view because you're on the 9th floor, I think, of all of LA from that spot. I've organized, I don't do it now, but organized like a real estate investment meetup once a week at the courthouse where you talk about probate, or you do it once a month or something. So I don't know the answers. I'm giving you the questions that I would have.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Put the plan together. And I would say if you're there for 3 days, maybe you need to go a little more to really get the clarity. I went originally once because the teacher in Probate Mastery said go once. Once I said, I'm going to go the rest of the week. Once I went the rest of the week, I said, I'm going to go for 30 days. Once I did that, I devised a plan. I went every day. That was my lead generation. So I would say the more you go, the more you'll learn. The more you learn, the more valuable you are. And the easier this will fall into place for you.
And so for sure, no cold calling?
I don't call anybody that doesn't
Do
call
you
me
have
first.
someone that calls for you on a call center?
No.
Text mass, blast, or anything?
Don't you hate getting these phone calls?
I do.
So do you want to call people
I'm
and
not gonna lie to you.
start the relationship? I mean, I guess so you have to. I don't really believe you have to. Now, I think mailing out to attorneys that you've met, I literally just mailed out. I'm mailing out. I happen to be Jewish, so if I know the attorney is Jewish, I send them a Hanukkah card, and if I don't know, I'll send them a holiday card. So I'm literally sending out cards to people. But these are people I've met that gave me their business card, or I did a transaction with or something. I wouldn't send anything to anybody cold. I think that the people on I'm going to get on my soapbox again. At the risk of making some enemies here. I think that too many people on this call and in this system gravitate towards I'm going to buy the data and cold call or mail, because that's a lot easier than really going and learning the product and the service.
Yeah.
But if you learn the product or service, it's a lot easier way to get business in the long run. It's more fulfilling as well.
Okay.
So I don't cold call anybody. I don't have an ISA that cold calls anybody. I'm not against it. I mean, I am against it, and I think it's probably illegal. I don't know. All the data sources I've seen, at least 90% of the data says do not call. They have to put that on there to sell it, or else they're going to go to jail. And then realtors buy it and call. And if you're with eXp Realty like I am, please don't call. Do not call this, because I don't want our company to be fined for your mistakes. But sure. you know, I don't think you should call people who don't want to be called. As simple as that. So I don't. But I work hard every day to meet people, follow people. I go to real estate investment networking events, and then I see attorneys there. I follow up with them that way. But no, I will say I did so much going to court that I could really just call the people I've met the rest of my career and never talk to a stranger again.
Got it. And in regards to probate mastery, I actually looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the certification, is there any particular program? Because I know it's like on 3 layers. Which one do you recommend? If you're not looking for the certification.
Right. And this is honest. I'm not on commission here, and I'm not really, a paid coach. I'm not telling you to join my coaching program. I do get some compensation for doing this for my time. And this was something that I thought was reasonable, given that I make a lot of money, but I also want to give back. Mm-hmm. I want this call to succeed because I want to work with all of you on the call. I want to network with you. I want you guys to hold me accountable. I want to grow my business. I need it. But to answer your question, I really believe what I said in the beginning. I didn't just say this. I'm not just some coach telling you what to do and not doing myself. I really believe my goal is to improve my knowledge of this field every day. So, for example, I'm a member of the American Bar Association as an affiliate. I'm not an attorney. I'm an affiliate, but I got the magazine every month. And there's a section called, I think it's Probate and Trust and Probate, or Trust and Real Estate or something. So I get 2 magazines from the American Bar Association. I read those. I belong to the LA Bar. They have a listserv, which is like a chat room that I learn from all the time. I've taken every probate class I've seen anybody offer. Now, I don't take the ones on cold calling. I don't take the ones on what I would call secular items, email or video, because I believe I've already found experts and coaches in those areas. But within the probate, I'll take anybody's class, because you know what? For $400, if I learn one thing and you add it to my multi-million-dollar value business, it's worth money.
Absolutely.
So I would say, I think you're asking the wrong question. The right question is, will this knowledge help me be a better realtor so that more people want to work with me? And I think the answer is yes.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Francis, a pleasure. Hopefully, we do an event in Diamond Bar the first Friday every month.
Okay, first Friday of the month.
It
Okay.
has been at the Holiday Inn in the Gateway Corporate Center,
Oh yeah.
but we're moving it to Tri-Counties Association of Realtors on the first Friday. Free breakfast. Love to
So
have
the
you come.
one in Tri-County is off the 60 freeway.
Yes. Yeah, I'll send you an email with a link to it.
I'll put my email in here.
Good. Love to meet you in
Well,
person.
you look me up already. You already have it, but I'll
already-
send it to you right now.
I already stalked you, Francis. I already got you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, there you go. That was Francis. That was fun. Okay, so Kendra says get with attorneys. Yes, though Kendra, I will say it's a business relationship, not a get with. Get with sounds like a college kid getting on in a frat party. I don't quite get with them in that regard. I'm married, but yeah. And then Kendra says, I don't know if you want to jump in here, Kendra. Main source of business with pre-foreclosures and finding those probate houses in pre-foreclosure. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I don't know exactly how to say this. I've had this thought in my head for a while that many of us turn to probate as a niche. And I would say that I think probate is a super niche, that within probate, there's multiple niches. One niche is attorney referrals. That's the one that I work. One's cold calling filings. That's another one, I guess. One is working with senior housing salespeople. Another one is working with nurses and care provider companies. Another one's pre-foreclosure, because there's a lot of overlap, because a lot of pre-foreclosures are because somebody died, and very often are reverse mortgages, and the kids have the house and they think, oh, this is cool, I'll make a payment. And eventually the reverse mortgage figures out what's going on and starts foreclosure. So if you work pre-foreclosures, you're going to end up working in the probate space or walking away from a lot of that business. So definitely there's overlap. But I would definitely say for all of you, probate is way too broad to say you really manage all of it. Like I don't call in senior housing salespeople. I don't really work with nurses and caregivers. Nothing wrong with those businesses. I got my hands filled with what I got. I mean, I'm 64 years old. I'm doing really well. I don't, I want to do what I'm doing. I don't really look to do anymore. Okay. And someone who send me listings almost weekly, certified divorce. That's another one. So family-wise, the whole thing. I take monthly, pop by the attorney offices, make sure they remember me and love on them. And Kendra, where do you sell real estate? You may have told me before in the chat, but I have a short memory. So
East Arkansas.
Yeah, so I would say in Arkansas, you can pop by and see attorneys.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, you can't.
Yeah.
It's the nature of Arkansas people versus LA people.
You just have, yeah, I know. I was listening to all that. Well, and to be honest, okay, y'all's courts are so cool, much cooler than ours, because like there is no day specifically designated to probate. I mean, you may have a probate and then you end up to a divorce, and then you're in a guardianship case. There is no like schedule. And our county records are not as perfect as y'all. They're not automated. I mean, we are ghetto back in this joint. And so it's kind of just funny because I'm listening to all this. I'm like, oh, that must be so nice. Because we don't have this luxury.
Have you seen My Cousin Vinny?
If I have, it's been a long time because I watch movies and encourage them. I'll rewatch it.
It's also a court in, I want to say rural Alabama. I think it's Alabama, but that Southern charm, but also the kind of that backwoods kind of as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's like even working with, and one of the biggest things I've learned with probate is every one of these attorneys does something completely different. Like nobody does the same thing the same way. And you have to be lenient, because I'm just like, why are we doing 4 orders for the same thing? Whereas this other attorney does 1 order and we're done. And so that's been interesting throughout this process. And I actually was going after divorce cases and fell into probate. So that's how I became probate in the probate realm in the last year.
There's a lot of overlap because a lot of times somebody's died and there's the divorce didn't properly anticipate probate law. And so there's inheritance issues that come up through that process. And then devising things, who owns the property. I think that is your opportunity, right? The fact that attorneys do it differently if you can accumulate the best practices, then you become the resource. That's how I look at myself, the attorneys I work with. There's no other, I don't believe, real estate agent, and there's a couple others that do a lot of business that read the probate notes, call the client, follow up on them. We have notes. We have a computer system where the judge's attorney reviews the filings and points out defects and gives the attorney a chance to fix it. And so I actually monitor that for my clients and for my attorneys, or I'll go to the hearings and help the client show up at the hearing or on the video hearing as well. So those are your opportunities. If you can get the best practices, the other attorneys want to learn what those are doing. So good for you.
Yeah, I've found that having my backstory in foreclosure and pre-foreclosure and doing short sales and all that has come to play. So a full circle event. Because what you'll find is you get into one little, you'll dabble in something, and then that leads to a bigger picture. And being able to be cross-trained in all the different, services, and being a full trained real estate agent, not just say, oh yeah, I can do it, but not really having knowledge. I think for anyone on this call, if you're not seeking more education on your trade every day in some capacity, whether that's, really going down the probate hole or even, dwindling, diddling over and, pre-foreclosure and stuff, all of it will help hand in hand. So that's why I started doing the probate classes and everything, because I want to hear what other people are doing and things of that nature. And but I did go through the CDRE, which is out of California, and again got to hear about all y'all's great course systems. But that was an expensive course, but because of that, it led me into the probate train that the probate cart I'd never been in before. And so, God just leads you from one path to another, and if you just go through the doors, you'll find yourself being well taken care of in the real estate world when everybody else is throwing their hands up going, how do I get business?
Exactly. I could say better. I agree so much, especially this time of year. Work on being better. Don't worry about getting more business. Worry about being better, and the business take care of itself. I think you're so right. Personally, I'm going to a course on Thursday on divorce real estate. I've purposely avoided that because I'm married, and marriage is hard enough without being around a lot of people getting divorced. We have so many friends who are going through divorce now. I learned of another one yesterday that it's for those of you who are married, it's just so hard. But I'm hoping to learn some of the business angles of it. I'm not looking to learn how to buy the data and cold call. I'm looking how do you more effectively handle people going through that stage of their life, and how do you handle it from a business point of view? And so I'm always trying to learn how to be a better real estate agent. So
it's like a probate course. It teaches you how to become. Yeah, if you go through a course like the probate course alone, I mean, you become unbiased, and and that's your biggest thing, is to be unbiased. Right. If you're there to sell the box, you're not there to get involved in the drama. There's techniques in handling both sides of the equation, and so I definitely it will help in all aspects of everything. Because even in probate, you've got family members that hate each other. I'm just there to sell the box, so right. You just got to get the box sold.
Right, learning how to be dispassionate but empathetic is really important. And I think that's something that I've worked at and constantly work at, is listening and understanding other people's emotions. But my job is not to be emotional. I think you're 100% right. So thanks. Kendra, thanks. Nice meeting you. Okay, so let me get her out. And looks like Arshi is asking, do I have a program for doing probate? How you set it up? I'm not sure what you're asking me. I started with this program, Probate Mastery, 5 years ago. Different teacher, Chad Corbett, the founder, taught that class, and I just basically did what he said to do, and I kind of took time out to go to court, and then I wrote out a business plan based on all that I learned that worked for me. I think it's really important when you take these classes, you have to put it into a plan. You can't just take a course. You can't just buy data. You can't just say you're going to cold call. You only need to have a plan. A plan looks like, a list of activities. It looks like, a calendar of activities. And so I put together a plan that included me going to court every day. For me, again, my skills, my situation, 5 days a week. I left the house at 7:30. I was there before 8 until 10:30 every day, lead generating. And then 2 or 3 days a week, I went from there to networking events. I was already in a suit and tie at court, so why not? So that was my original plan. And then when COVID hit, I had to kind of change all that. But the answer is Probate Mastery, I think, offers you that. I'm on this call every week to help you implement your plan. If you have specific questions, I'm glad to help answer that as well. Okay,
Question,
George.
Bill, I do have
Yes.
a question. It's Arshi.
Okay.
So I did the probate mastery with Chad as well,
Nice.
when I was back in California. And now I have actually moved to Texas. So I guess I need to get caught up on what the probate is like in Texas. So do you have any specific information or anybody that you know of that is actually doing probate in Texas? Regardless, I'm in Austin, Texas. So anybody that you feel I could, connect with and kind of, learn something from them.
I know Sherry Lund is in Houston, has a really nice podcast. She
Sherry,
S-H-E-R-R-I,
S-H-E.
Lund, L-U-N-D.
Okay.
With willowwoodsolutions.com is the company. She has a really good job on her podcast. She interviewed one of my team members, Melanie Han, out of Florida recently. Does a really nice job. I know it's different in Texas. I know it's less cumbersome in Texas than in California, but still there's a process to go through. I interviewed a couple of attorneys in Texas on my podcast as well. I would just say just do as much research as you can. I mean, what company are you with? What brokerage are you with?
I'm with Keller Williams.
So your broker should really help you as far as any state-specific forms or company-specific addendums. And I would say also YouTube has been my best teacher so far in that. You also might join whatever county, I think Harris County is Houston, Bar Association is an affiliate. You might want to go to their affiliate. And then if they have a trust and estate section, a probate section, you might join that. And I would definitely recommend just going to court and go to the probate court and pay attention, plan to go there for a few days, find out what's going on, look at the bulletin boards, are there classes posted, do the reconnaissance there. I think you'll find plenty of information there. Okay.
So out of the course that you got from Chad, so you took a specific angle of it, which is going to court and doing it that way.
I think the Probate Mastery, I would describe it not as a program of like a business plan as much as help me understand the come from and the value proposition to the customer. But you still have to figure out how to market and deliver it. And so for me, I wasn't going to cold call on the phone, and I wasn't going to do direct mail. It costs too much, takes too long. I started doing direct mail actually. When COVID hit, I stopped it, and I've never gone back. But when I thought about it, well, if I go to court 5 days a week, I'm bound to meet people. And I did, I met plenty. And I remember one lady, I got like 20 listings. Now, a lot of them were small pieces of land. So it sounds very dramatic, but it was 20. All combined, it was worth as much as maybe 3 or 4 houses for the work of 20. But it was fun. It was great education and experience. But literally just going to court, I bumped into a lady who got that from her. So I would say definitely I put that plan together on my own, but it was his urging to go to court that I discovered the opportunity.
So your main business is coming from attorneys, referrals through them?
So attorneys, vendors, in probate, we have probate bond companies, we have probate advance companies, and then social media. I do video and I get people who see me and call me and say, hey, Bill, I'm a probate and my mom died and I have questions. And I get those people call me all day. What happened after a while was I talked to enough people where I just had people call me and go in my calendar every day. Attorney, other agent referrals from out of state. Anybody here have a probate with a sale in California? You can't probate it in another state. You've got to have a sub probate or what's called ancillary probate in California. I'd love to help you with that on a referral basis. I get referrals. Yeah, that's basically what I do.
Thank you.
Sure, Archie. Thank you so much. Good luck in Texas. Sorry we lost you there. Got away. I saw Sabina had a question.
Yes. Hi. I wanted to ask you on the protocol in court. When you go, what is it that you absolutely shouldn't do? And how do you run into these people? Do you see that they might be going into court and I mean, how do you kind of introduce yourself if you're not supposed to talk to them?
Right. So number one thing not to do, make sure your phone is off if you go inside the courtroom. Now, when I say the court, there's a court building that has hallways. In ours in LA, we have a coffee shop downstairs, we have a Starbucks outside, and we have a cafeteria on the ninth floor. So inside the courthouse, you can talk to people, but inside one of the rooms, when the judge is there, you can't talk. You also have to have your phone off. You can't have it ringing or making noises and stuff. The judge will kill you. I think the bailiff will just pull the gun out and shoot you dead right there if they hear the phone go off. As far as talking to people, I would stand in the hallway, and while the court was supposed to start at 8:30, I'd be there at 8:15 on purpose, no later than. And I would just walk up to you. If I saw you waiting outside, and say, "Hi, I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate professional specializing in probate. What brings you here today?" And some people are comfortable talking, and some aren't. And whatever.
Well, no, I mean, I think we should be all comfortable talking to people. It's just I don't want to do something that may be stepping on somebody's toes or may, give the wrong signal. I just want to make sure that, you're.
I dress like an attorney. I wear a dark suit, white shirt, silk tie. I look like an attorney. For men, if you want to know how to dress like presidential candidates at debates. That's how attorneys should dress in a courtroom. Or watch My Cousin Vinny. Women, I don't know what the equivalent is. I would say, I guess it's the equivalent, but I don't know how to describe it. Men, dark suit, that should be wool, white shirt, ideally tie, silk rep tie. Men, women, whatever the equivalent of that is. And your hair should look like that. And I actually have a rolling briefcase. I generally use a backpack, but when I go to court, I use a rolling briefcase because that's what attorneys bring to court. I want to look like an attorney. I have two sets of business cards. I have my realtor business cards. I have my company branding and my picture on it. And I have my attorney cards, which are plain like attorneys, black and white, no logo, just name, address, phone number, email address. I want to look like an attorney. So when you see me in court, you're going to say, "Oh, are you an attorney?" "Oh, no, I'm a real estate probate professional." And I want to stand out from all the other realtors that show up in jeans and polo shirts and all that. So,
and the vendors that you were speaking of, what are those vendors again?
Well, people who file for probate. Oh, wow, we've gone over time. We're going to have to wrap up here. May need a probate bond. May need an inheritance advances. Insurance for vacant homes. So, I mean, if I give you business, I'd like business back.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I'm so sorry. I just lost track of time here today. Had fun. Was this helpful today? You guys have fun today? I enjoyed it. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. I was off last week. I thought I was going to be on vacation last week. Turned out that I was, my grandson got sick. And so I did a staycation. And I guess I missed you guys a lot. That I talked a little bit more than I should have. So we're going to wrap it up. If you have other questions I missed, go to the Facebook group. This is probatemastery.com. And this is our weekly real estate coaching call that we do every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. But you can continue the conversation. Go to the Facebook group, Estate Professional Mastermind. Put the questions in there, and I'll be checking them for a little bit. Love to have you participate. I'm Bill Gross, and I do this. Let me see if I can get this. There we go. And there you go. Probate Mastery is the program, and Facebook group is the Facebook group. And then I also simply host probatemastery.com on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we interview agents and professionals. And
how are you? Sean Matthews Compass.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, hold on.
So, Barna, so I have.
There we go. Sorry about that. And so Facebook group, want to continue the conversation with me there. My Probate Weekly Facebook group. Love to have you guys join us there. Thank you guys. Sorry I went a little late today. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for all those who participated. George, thank you. Sabina.
Thank you very much.
Tanya, nice meeting you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk soon.